grace functioning in me will work for you is that you come and bribe my angels. Because the more money in my hand, the faster I reach the assignment they gave to me. So the easier you make the assignment, the faster they work for you.
Have you heard that a certain engine oil tastes just like honey? Well, here are 20 insane and outrageous acts by some African pastors. Watch this video to the end and drop a comment below. Number 20, Pastor Hills. At number 20 is the Togolese pastor who went viral after an outrageous picture of the pastor wearing female high heels to minister during a church service was shared. The controversial man of the cloth, whose name has managed to be withheld, is known publicly by social media bloggers and onliners as Pastor Hills. Dressed in his clergy wear or typical men clothing, the pastor tops off his look with incredible fashionable high heels in different colors, heights, and styles. He reported, although after facing backlash from onliners, that he had tried wearing men's shoes but had only suffered physically and spiritually. Finally, he decided to key into God's instruction and wear not just any female footwear but female high heels. Ever since he had obeyed the command, his life had gotten easier and he had been free from physical pains. As seen in his viral picture circulating, the pastor could be seen attending to the congregation. The church's name and location has not been identified. However, Pastor Hills explains that he feels more comfortable wearing female shoes than others. He is alleged to probably own more shoes than an average woman would have.
Holy Ghost, fire Jesus out! The mighty name of Jesus Christ. The mighty name of Jesus Christ. Come out! Look here, Buffy.
Number 19, Pastor Douglas Dlamini. Another supposed man of God who managed to secure a spot on this list is the South African pastor from Umbombela, Mpumalanga, called Douglas Dlamini. Pastor Douglas rose a lot of eyebrows and talks due to his choice of appearance. Wearing a mini skirt and a wig, the pastor could be seen going around evangelism, while many onliners and members were shocked and felt the need to call out the spiritual leader. He explained that it was a strategy he had employed to gather as much attention before spreading his message, usually against prostitution. With his explanations, many of the rumors spread that Douglas might actually be a cross-dresser began to die out. Although many are still of the opinion that it may just be a facade he uses to cover up his true identity. Now wow, so who we won't believe now? Number 18, Pastor Kakande. Senior pastor and founder at the Kakande Ministries in Kampala, Uganda, Pastor Samuel Kakande is one top pastor who is known for his miracle deliverance football session. The pastor, who is dressed in a suit, brings a supernatural football in quote and begins to play. He then encourages other members or fellow pastors to attempt to take the ball from him. Making away with his dribbling skills in front of his congregation, he then passes the ball to and fro, and as members approach him, they are flung into a state of deliverance, which is trademarked with seizure-like movements, falling intensely to the ground in a trance state or being thrown towards other seated congregation members. Kakande claims he uses the mystery of the ball and the power of Jesus to set many free. This Ugandan prophet is also known for some of his tagged over dramatic miracles, which is believed to be performed irrespective of age, size, or problem.
Time for the ball, time for the ball.
Here
Here we go. Kakande na mpira, kakande na mpira, kakande na mpira. Kisera cha kuteba.
Thank you, Scott.
Number 17, the angel bribing pastor. All the way from Nigeria is the viral video capturing the very moment Nigerian-based pastor let his congregation know that the amount of money given to him by them determined the period of time it would take for their blessings to reach them. Opening up without mincing words, he explained that he needed their money to firstly be brought to his altar, as it was the only way the grace in him to say would work for any of his members, which also needed his permission. And in order to gain such permission was if they paid enough of the big bucks, which he in turn would pay to his own angels, who would then assist and allow him finish the assignment given to him. Capping it all, he stated that while many may feel it was juju, it was simply the way the supernatural world worked. Finishing it up in Igbo, members could be seen shaking their heads in affirmation and nodding in agreement.
We need your money to come on my altar so that my altar will touch you. The only way the grace functioning in me will work for you is that you come and bribe my angels. Because the more money in my hand, the faster I reach the assignment they gave to me. So the easier you make the assignment, the faster they work for you. There is no juju in it. If you don't know how to provoke me, nothing will work in your life. It's a law.
Number 16, Pastor Paul Sayangore. At number 16 is Pastor Paul Sayangore, Zimbabwean pastor of Victory World International, who who is known for his questionable manner of ministry. Having introduced a new dimension of deliverances, the African pastor, who is also a televangelist, has claimed to be the only man of God, in quotes, who has the direct phone number of God. As seen in numerous of his earth services, Pastor Paul dials a number on his phone and makes a call to the heavenly line. Once the call connects, the congregation marvels as the issue is now as good as solved. In one of his phone call sessions, a woman, obviously in some kind of distress, is seen on her knees awaiting her deliverance, while the pastor paces back and forth, placing the call. After the call is supernaturally answered, he asks if this is heaven, and if you're wondering why the call isn't on speaker, your guess is as good as mine. He then relays some information from the heavenly speaker, which the woman affirms to. As the entire church explodes in shocking amazement, the woman continues to affirm to every of his findings, as more whoops and cheers erupt from the crowd. Finally, after the church, he lays his hands on her before the woman falls into a seemingly trance, leaving the church in uproar again.
Hello? Is it heaven? I have a woman here. What do you have to say about her? I should ask her, who is Sibo? Sibo. Who is Sibo? Okay.
Number 15, Pastor Blinks. Jaw-dropping instances in the church episode of the Ghanaian Pastor Blinks will blow your mind. Nana Mensah, aka Pastor Blinks, is more seen as a skit maker than a pastor. The controversial personality, who is believed to have been given a special assignment from heaven as a cleanser, is believed by his congregation to have such anointing, which he explains is targeted at the female church members. Pastor Blinks ministers that since his calling is charged towards the wholesomeness and purity of his members, he would be undergoing such a spiritual task by taking the hygiene of his members personal. For this purpose alone, has the spiritual leader taken his full time to scrub the body of his female church members, bathing them in front of the congregation and even shaving their privates in public. After the bathing exercise, they are then given customized anointed underwear cut to their exact shape and size. Still with the rumors on the identity of this supposed man of God, onliners and viewers remain in shock of his act. Number 14, Pastor Lethabo Rabalogo. South African pastor nicknamed Prophet Doom comes in as number 14. Prophet Rabalogo is one of the shocking scientists who discovered the cure of cancer and HIV via the popular insect repellent known as Doom. Making a post, Rabalogo revealed that anything you touch becomes anointed. Hence, the insecticide that he had touched had received the power of God and had become a healing product, which he used to deliver his afflicted members. In the church's viral pictures, he was seen spraying the insecticide into the eyes, faces, and legs, as well as other parts of the congregation, depending on how he was led. Later on, there were supposed reports of healing of some members, while others fell severely sick or developed coughing fits lasting up to 7 months. The insecticide company then issued out a statement explaining that the product was harmful to humans and was not meant for human consumption. Amidst this, the Mount Zion General Assembly overseer was charged with counts of such incidents, which were believed to be cases of assault. He was then sued when there were accounts of him actually placing a speaker on some of his members and sitting on them. Number 13, Pastor Lukau.
Because I sense that God has written a check, and a check with your name that is being delivered right now. Call me a postman, call me a delivery boy, call me a courier man. I bring your check from heaven for every time you pray.
Pastor Lukau is the General Overseer of the South African Church Alleluia Ministries International, who is reportedly a coach, leader, and a mentor who is targeting restoring families with miracles and healings. Lukau, however, was in the spotlight and faced some backlash some years ago after he had supposedly raised the dead man, while many were of the opinion that it was all scripted, following how the dead man wasn't dead enough, which led to the notice of the man breathing in and out when he was meant to still be unalive at the moment. Lukau then laid hands on the dead man he called Elliot and prayed before Elliot jerked back to life. The video went viral, stirring up more confusion and laughs than a surprise, calling out how now alive Elliot was a poor actor. Later on, Alf apologized to the public and attested that the man was actually alive when he was brought, but he had no intention of pretending. He further stated that the family of the boy be questioned for more answers. Number 12, Bishop Obinim Angel. Ghanaian pastor Daniel Obinim, popularly known as Angel Obinim, is the minister of the International God's Way Church located in Ghana. Declaring himself to be an angel of God, hence his name, he told his church that he could transform himself into different animals alongside others. Moreover, the pastor is well recognized for some of his incidents, like when he stepped on a sick woman's stomach in the process of delivering her. He also tried to fly back to heaven as the angel that he is, but unfortunately got held back by the members who were reluctant to let him go. One episode which got the man of God cuffed by the Ghanaian Police Service Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit was when he had mercilessly flogged 2 teenagers on the pulpit in front of the congregation. The 2 were accused of fornicating, which led to the female getting pregnant, and according to the pastor, were contemplating abortion. This particular act invited the eyes of the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nana Oyelithor, which led to his arrest.
Amen.
Jesus. Jesus.
Number 11, Pastor Chris Okafor.
You will pass a primary school, you will pass a filling station that is by the right, you will get to a market, there is a market. This time I see the market by the right side, but I still see the one going this way. That's the one that leads to your father's house. When you pass the market, about 3 minutes, you are going to meet a church.
Nigerian Christian minister and televangelist and founder of the Liberation City joins this list for his outrageous act disguised under the tenets of deliverances. Chris Okafor is a controversial pastor who was singled out when he had supposedly faked a miracle on a woman whose name was later known to be Bose Olasukomi. The video went viral, trending and showing in the process how the woman, who had mysteriously developed a stunted deformed arm overnight due to some supernatural attack, had suddenly gotten the arm stretched out after his prayers. In the video, many wowed at the possibility of the miracle performed by the man of God, while others were still of the opinion that it was staged, especially since the transaction of about 400,000 naira was said to be paid to the woman. Okafor, although, rubbished the claims and retorted that the money was indeed paid to the lady for her upkeep after she had confessed to spending all her money for help, and that he had only done what other people would have done. If you've managed to watch this far and you're still unsure if this is actually a reality, then hit the like button and wait till you see number 3. Odumeje Indaboski. Famous all over Nigeria as a music artist and celebrity, Cyril Chukwuemeka aka Odumeje is the singer of the recent hit song titled Powers early this year, alongside the famous Nigerian singer Flavor, which gained thousands of reactions after its release. Odumeje has tagged himself as more of a miracle doer than a preacher, which can be seen in some of his miracle episodes, recognized for throwing the sick and ill congregation to the floor as a procedure for deliverance, lying on top of his church members, slapping the demons out of them and wrestling the evil spirits back to hell. Liquid Metal has been called out severally and tagged as a fake pastor who has no ethics and morals. He also went viral when he claimed that he had defeated the devil in a wrestling match and that all were now free. The Twerking Church. When Instablog uploaded the viral video of a church most probably believed to be a Celestian church, usually called White Garment Church, showing some members twerking to the praise and worship beats. The women were seen dressed in their white garments and taking it slow in a sensual dance, while male counterparts sat and watched on. It was later assumed that such dance moves were the custom for the church members, who were later revealed to be choristers. The exact location of the church is not known, except that it is in Nigeria. Onliners and viewers condemned the presiding spiritual leader, allowing such profanity. Prophet Paseka Motsoeneng, South African televangelist and self-acclaimed leader of the church Incredible Happenings Ministries, made the news when the controversies surrounding the pastor went round. Known for allegedly removing demons through the female parts and doing a lot more, Prophet Paseka became more under the public eye after he had decided to charge his congregation to see the pictures that he had taken in heaven. Yes, he had reportedly refused to show any of his members his pictures he had taken on his Samsung S5 phone while in the heavenly realm. He made sure that whoever was to view these spiritual practices would pay the sum of 5,000 South African rands, which would be somewhere around thousands of naira in picture. When he was later questioned by the authorities, he denied all accusations, seeing it necessary to protect his church's image. Shepherd Bushiri. Malawi preacher, also known as Major One, is the Prophet Shepherd Bushiri of the Enlightened Church Gathering, the Jesus Nation Church. The controversial figure made his way into the public scrutinizing eye after a video of him circulated showing the pastor walking on air. The shepherd was also known to have encouraged his members to invest in a scheme which would have a 50% return after 30 days with just 100,000 rand. Finally, after 2 years, the congregation were still awaiting their 30-day return investment. It was later revealed to be a fraudulent scheme which scammed the members of their money. The preacher has also been accused of many sexual assault and rape incidents. He was later arrested alongside his wife in 2019, 2020, and 2022 for fraud and money laundering. Pastor Amos Isah. Notable for his controversial welcoming, Apostle Amos Isah of Prophetic Victory Voice of Fire Ministries International is shown when he arrives and is greeted with everyone on their knees until he passes. Daddy Gio, as he's often called, spiraled the public out of control when he placed a hand on the head of the kneeling church members, a gesture that raised many eyebrows. Whether elderly or young, irrespective of age, every member of the church who then made an appearance before the preacher was then seen kneeling down for his impartation as he placed his hand on their head. Moving on to number 5 is the strangely mind-boggling happening at the Jesus City Mountain in Abeokuta, Nigeria. In the church, the alleged senior pastor of the growing church was seen holding a phone which was believed to be his and was used as a point of contact to all other phones in the church arena. Soon after his intense prayer, he encouraged his congregation to check their phones, precisely those using the network MTN, to check their airtime balance and confirm if there was a change. Soon, many individuals came to testify the miracle recharge card given to them from the supernatural realm. They all recounted their airtime balance and now its new status, showing off with their 200 naira and even some 500 naira divine additions. They refused to be ungrateful and shared their testimony. Lesego Daniel. At Rabboni Center Ministries, Pastor Lesego Daniel is that pastor who you've definitely heard feeding grass to his congregation. The South African preacher who convinced his members to go outside and eat grass began trending. His congregation rushed out of the church and were seen struggling to get their own spot in the field to eat some grass. With hunger and by the instruction of Pastor Daniel, the congregation devoured the grass, and after eating, many reported that they felt much more stronger and closer to God, while it was said that others fell ill. He was also reported for stepping on people in the name of deliverances. In the viral picture, many of his congregation lay flat on the ground with their faces to the floor until the man of God stepped on them mercilessly to chase out the demons. Pastor Mlaka Maliro. And now, number 3 is the pastor and musician Mlaka Maliro, who is often referred to as the drunken pastor. Pastor Maliro of Enlightened Christian Gathering, Jesus Nation Church, was reported to have actually gotten drunk live on stage at a show at Mangochi, while hiding to drink some beer, a Carlsberg bottle in particular, while hiding his face. When he was interviewed by the Zodiac TV Cruise 5 program, he confessed that he had actually gotten drunk because he was very tired on stage and he had decided to try and boost his energy by taking a small drink. He expressed his regrets following his actions and the disappointment of church members who once looked up to him. Prophet Theo Bongani Maseko. Number 2 is the engine oil feeder, a South African pastor, Prophet Bongani Maseko of Breath of Christ Ministries in Daventon, who encouraged his members to take a nice big gulp of a Caltex car engine oil, which according to him, after the power of God, tasted like honey. Making references to the Bible, he told members that the toxicity in the product had been nullified, just like Jesus said poison would be. Photographs circulated showing the prophet pour some harmless engine oil into the mouths of smiling congregations. Lastly is the famous controversial pastor, the South African pastor of the End Times Disciples Ministry, Penwell Ngemi, who is known for telling his church members to eat a live snake as a demonstration of God's power, which will be manifested through deliverances. The notoriety of the pastor led to the viral exposure of what was actually going on the stage. He exclaimed to the congregation that he could eat small animals like snakes and lizards as well as mice without getting hurt or sick. He then asked them what flavor they could taste, and members replied that it tasted just like chocolate. Well, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button to get more of these videos. See you in the next one.